Most of us golfers will have said that we are bad at chipping at some point whilst we've played. If you're somebody who catches them heavy and leaves them a foot in front of you, or that person that thins them through the back of the green, then in this video today, guys, on Get Good at Golf, we are going to help you with just that. My name is Chris, guys, and if you are new to the channel, then make sure to smash that subscribe button. And guys, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, thank you very much for being a subscriber. But get in the comments below. First of all, what we want to know this winter is how we can help you lower your score. So what are you struggling with? What do you want drills on to help you get to that handicap you want to achieve in 2026? Well, let's think about chipping first. So how many times we see people set up to a chip shot and hit this shot here? Oh, it's a bit of a drop kick, but it's done well. So my chipping's not that bad. It wasn't a perfect strike. I've got away with that one. And then we come on to the next chip. We have a similar chip a couple of holes later. Oh, didn't quite work on that one. And that's the one where we start to catch the ground a little bit before. And you can see there's not much movement of the body in those swings. It's very much handsy. And we start to see the same when it comes to this one here. So if we start to see, right, I've got this little chip shot here. Oh, I might use that slope. Oh no, it's gone up the slope now, and now I've got a tricky chip shot, or tricky putt back down that slope, I should say. So you'll see in that motion there, it was all hands, and we're trying to do what? We're trying to help the ball up. So how many times I see people with a normal stance, so a normal shoulder width stance, standing the same distance you would with a 50, 60 yard or even a 100 yard shot, and then it's very much that motion there. Right, I've got to help it up. If I can get that ball up, I know it's going to work. And we might get that one where you help it up, and it's done really well. But consistency, when you've got a card in your hand, we know that's when the knees start to shake, that's when the grip gets a little bit tighter, and we all know that's when we hit those bad shots. So how can we improve this? Well, nice and easy today in this video, we are talking about your wrists in the golf swing, because a lot of people think it's all about that release. If I want to play it low, then I've just got to hold that club off, which is often a position that we see a lot of golfers get into. And unfortunately, we hit this part here. Or we see the opposite, where you try and get the hands active. I've got to help the ball up. I'm going to play that high one here. Weight stays back. We're casting that club, we're flicking our hands, and we don't get consistency. So what I want you to do is think about it. If you're just a one wedge person, or even if we go through the bag, which we will do in this video, is I want you to think your ball position, your setup is going to create your desired shot. So if I wanted this to be a lower ball flight, I've got my Sky Forge at 56 degree here. You can certainly see it's winter with that mud on there, but I want you to get closer to the golf ball. So we're going to be around about a foot away from that golf ball. My stance is going to be a club width apart, and you'll see I'm a lot taller to this. If I want to play it low, I'm going to get my weight left. My hands are going to be ahead of the golf ball, but they are not going to be pressed forward. So when I get it into this setup, it's off my right foot as a right-handed golfer. Club is just ahead of the zipper, and then the lower ball flight will come from me having 80% of weight on my left, 20% on my right. If I get into that setup now, closer to the ball, taller, weight left, you can see with that 56, I can create that lower ball flight. So you see straight away there, I've got the desired ball flight that I want, and that's come from setup. So all I've done is I've got into that position, I've turned my chest back, and I've turned my chest through. So I'm trying to work the body rotating. I'm not trying to do it with my hands. I'm not holding that off and playing a cover drive if there's any cricketers out there. So if I want to now play that shot and I'm going to go to that further flag, it's exactly the same setup here. So ball position is back, hands just ahead of the zipper, weight 80-20, and all I'm going to do now is turn a little bit more, and you'll see that I'll come out with a relatively low trajectory, just landed in that slope there, but you can see straight away that's not popped up, that's not gone ridiculously high. All I need to do there is make a longer swing. So you can see, get into that setup again, weight left, longer swing this time. Will that land a little bit further? Well, it's consistency. I've mastered that shot just to the top of the slope. So we can start to see there, right, well, Chris, if you want to get that going a little bit further, could you change club? But we don't have to go straight to your 8-iron or your 7-iron that you think. So I've gone to that pitching wedge. So I've only dropped back a couple of clubs here. I'm going to do exactly the same setup. I'm going to treat it like an extended putting motion. You see straight away there, I've got that lower launch, I've got that roll, it's gone up that hill. And now if I do that again, I've got that on line now, up the slope, and that's giving me a chance. And you can see I don't have to quickly go to the 8-iron, because what I see a lot of times when people drop down to your 8-iron, to your 7-iron, is the ball comes off too quick. It comes off too quick and it's very hard to judge that shot. So you might be thinking now, well, okay, well, these are easy shots. These are the ones where you've not got much trouble in front of you. You're close to the green. But what about if we're going over a bunker? And here we are on that shot now. You're breathing lightly now because you know that you've not gone in that bunker. That's another shot that you potentially dread. You're short of it now. How many times have people start to strangle this club? They start to strangle this club. Oh, it's not, well, it's moved a centimetre. And that's because we're trying, again, just to try and get really tense on that really quick and just try and get that over. But how do I get the ball to go a little bit higher? I've got my trusty 56 again, and all I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep that stance nice and narrow. I'm going to get my weight on the left, so I'm still wanting the weight to be the left because we still have to hit down onto this golf ball to get the golf ball to go up. And we're going to give you a fantastic drill in a second for you to figure out why you're potentially misstriking your wedge shots. So straight away here, weight is left. This is in the centre of my stance. I've not added loft because I've got 56 degrees. And you can see even there, a nice short motion, no wrist, and I've got the ball launching over the bunker. And if you're thinking, well, yeah, I'd get my 60 out there because I need the height. Well, if you get your golf club, lay it down, and we get that level, this is how that club is going to launch. So that ball should come off at that angle. And that angle is more than enough to get us over this bunker. And that's what you've got to think. You can't do this in competition, but it's a good way and it's a good visual to see how that should launch off. The same you can do with your pitching wedge, with your 8-iron, to see how would that launch if I was trying to get over or under something. If you're in the trees, again, it's a good little thing for you to know. So, ball in the middle of my stance, weight left, no wrists, and that's popped up nicely. That's 2 for 2, and that is a tap-in. But how can you understand what you are doing? Well, here's a drill. So nice and easy, grab your towel off your golf bag, and I want you to put it around about a club head width behind the golf ball. These two golf balls are just there today because the wind seems to be straight behind me and it keeps blowing the towel out of the way. You could also do this with an alignment stick, but the idea here is to, even if we just play a neutral setup here, so middle of the stance, weight is left, we want to make motions here where I can hit this ball without catching the towel. So you'll see, if you're somebody who thins it, you're potentially that guy who gets a little bit ahead and tops that, but you might be the guy who is bottoming out early, so make sure it doesn't get too far forwards. You might be that guy who catches the towel. You'll get a drop kick off this nice lie, but on the golf course in the winter conditions, we're certainly going to see that that's not going to go very far. So get into that setup, get your weight left. We're trying to catch the ball first, down. You can see even there, I just caught that. I made a good strike, but I just clipped that on the way down. So this is where you can start to make sure it's a club width away. Something you can even do in the back garden if you've got a mat or if you've got something to put it down on. Start to see where your low point is, and that's the best one. So the best interaction with the turf, I didn't catch the towel and that had plenty of spin on it. The other way obviously is get the alignment stick down. Again, a good reference you could do with this is get it where you're around about a foot away from this alignment stick, but weight is left, and we're trying to make sure that we don't catch that alignment. So you see there coming out nice and low with plenty of spin on that. But even if I wanted to play one a little bit higher, move it a little bit forwards in the stance, my weight is still left. But you can see that I still hit down, pop it up nicely, nice interaction with the turf. Ball first, still got plenty of spin on it, and we've not caught that alignment stick. So guys, there's a little bit of a chipping tip to help you hit the ball a little bit closer, find out what kind of strike you are getting to help you chip it a little bit closer, get those scores down and get you enjoying your golf a little bit more, and as we know, get good at golf. Again, those comments below, what do you want to see, what do you want drills on going through this winter to get you ready for the 2026 season, which seems to have come round pretty quick because this year has flown by. We'll see you then.